So you want privacy, real privacy, not just far from the city privacy, but actual, nobody can see you, nobody can bother you privacy. That's what we're talking about today. Welcome back to the Land Buyer's Guide. I'm Scott Thomas, founder of landparker.com, where we help everyday people get onto rural land, often with as little as $100 down and $100 a month. And today, we're getting into something I get asked about all the time. How do you actually find private rural land? Not just land that looks private on a map, land that genuinely gives you the peace and solitude you're after. Because here's the thing, a lot of buyers assume that if a property is rural, it's automatically private, and that's just not always true. So let's walk through this the right way. All right, first, location. And I know that sounds obvious, but hear me out. Location sets the foundation for everything else. How far is the property from a town or a main highway? Because even a rural highway, not a freeway, just a two-lane state road, can bring a surprising amount of noise and headlights at night. Distance matters more than people think. You also want to think about what kind of road gets you to the property. There's a big difference between a private easement road shared with maybe one or two neighbors versus a county road that runs right along the edge of your land. One of those keeps people away. The other one, not so much. And look at what's around the property. What are the neighboring parcels used for? Farming, hunting, timber, vacation rentals? Each one of those brings a different level of activity. A hunting lease next door means people on foot and in trucks moving through that area regularly, especially in fall. A vacation rental nearby means rotating groups of strangers. These are things worth knowing before you buy. Now, once you've got location covered, let's talk about the land itself, the natural features. And honestly, this is where a lot of buyers get excited. And rightfully so, because the right terrain and vegetation can do an incredible amount of work for you. Mature trees are your best friend. A dense hardwood forest or a thick stand of evergreens does two things at once. It blocks sight lines and it absorbs sound. Open pasture land, it looks beautiful, but it offers very little natural privacy. You're kind of just out there. Topography matters too. Rolling hills, valleys, ridgelines, these can completely hide a home site from roads and neighboring properties. If you can tuck a building behind a ridge or down in a natural bowl, you've got a level of privacy that you just can't manufacture easily. And creeks, wetland edges, dense, brushy areas along boundaries, those act as natural buffers. Physical and visual separation between you and everything else. One thing people don't always think about is sound travel. In flat, open country, sound moves a long way. Wind direction plays into that too. So when you're thinking about where to actually build on a piece of land, keep that in mind. It's not just about what you can see, it's about what you can hear. Okay, now here's one of the most important things I want to cover today. Boundaries and easements. And I want to spend some real time on this because it's where privacy gets quietly killed. First, boundaries. You need to know exactly where your land starts and ends. Old surveys can be inaccurate, especially in wooded areas where markers get overgrown or moved. If a current survey isn't available, it's worth getting one. And more than that, walk the boundaries in person. Don't rely on satellite images. Get out there. Look for old fence lines, posted signs, evidence that people have been crossing through regularly. Because sometimes what looks like your land on paper has people walking through it like it's public access. And easements. This is the big one. An easement is a legal right for someone else to use a portion of your property, and you usually can't stop it. It runs with the land. So if there's an access easement that allows a neighbor to drive through your property to reach theirs, that's vehicles crossing your land, regularly, possibly forever. There are also utility easements, power companies, pipelines, phone lines. They may have corridors on your land they can access whenever they need to. And in some rural areas, there are even recreational easements, hunting rights or hiking rights attached to the property. Here's what a lot of people don't realize. These easements are in the title work. They show up in the deed and the plat. But buyers often scheme right past them. Get a real estate attorney to review the title report before you close. Understand what's there and where it runs. It can absolutely make or break your privacy situation. Let's talk about size and shape for a minute. More acres generally means more privacy. That's just math. But the shape of the parcel matters too. A long, narrow strip of land might be 20 acres, but it has a ton of road frontage and shared boundary on every side. A compact, roughly square parcel of the same size, that's going to give you much better interior privacy. Look for parcels where you can get deep setbacks from any public road. The further your potential building site sits from the edges, the better. Interior acreage, land that's well away from any boundary, is the most private land you can own. Now say you've found a solid piece of land, good location, great natural features, clean title. Where you actually place your home still matters a lot. Set the house back from the driveway entrance as far as practical. Use the terrain. Put buildings behind ridges or tree lines. Think about making your driveway curve instead of running straight from the road. A straight driveway is basically an invitation to look right at your front door from the road. A curved one breaks that sight line. Plant privacy hedges or windbreaks along the edges near your living areas. Keep the working parts of your property, the garden, the chicken coop, the workshop, away from shared property lines. These are small decisions that stack up into a really private, comfortable piece of land over time. There's one more thing to check, and honestly, a lot of buyers skip this. Local zoning. Call the county planning department. Find out what's permitted on the parcels adjacent to yours. Has anyone filed permits for development nearby? Any quarrying operations, commercial farming, anything like that? And are short-term rentals or hunting lodges common in the area? Because those things bring activity right to the edge of your land. Some rural counties have almost no zoning restrictions at all, which cuts both ways. Great for what you want to do. But the neighbor can also do pretty much whatever they want to. Last practical tip, visit the property more than once, and visit it at different times. A wooded property in July looks completely different in December once the leaves are down. A quiet road on a Tuesday morning might be crawling with ATVs and trucks on a Saturday during deer season. Spend real time on the land. Walk the edges. Listen. Drive the roads around it. You will learn more in 2 or 3 visits than you ever will from a listing photo. So to bring it all together, finding truly private rural land is absolutely doable. But it takes more than just picking a spot that looks far away on Google Maps. You're looking at location, natural features, boundary clarity, easements, parcel shape, home placement, and what the zoning landscape looks like around you. Do that work before you close. Ask the right questions. Walk the land, look at the title, and don't settle for something that only looks private on paper. If you're in the market for rural land and you want to see what's actually available, come check out landparker.com. We specialize in discounted rural vacant land with owner financing that's built for real people, sometimes as low as $100 down and $100 a month. No bank required. Browse the listings, read up on the buying process, and reach out if you've got questions. We're here to help you find the right piece of land. Thanks for listening, and I'll catch you on the next one.